authors. I'm Joanne Morell, children's and young adult fiction writer and author of short non-fiction for authors. Thanks for joining me for the Hybrid Author podcast, sharing interviews from industry professionals to help you forge a career as a hybrid author, both independently and traditionally publishing your books. You can get the show notes for each episode and sign up for your free author pass over at the Hybrid Author website to discover your writing process, get tips on how to publish productively, and get comfortable promoting your books at www.hybridauthor.com.au. Let's crack on with the episode. Hello, authors. I hope you're all keeping well in whatever part of the world you reside and listen to the podcast. Today's interview is There is Writing Through Adversity and Building Purpose-Driven Work with Vanessa Maiorano, and we chat her powerful message, There is Always Love, inspired by her own experience navigating cancer as a young mother, the turning point to share her story, her publishing and marketing author adventure of 16 plus books, from office management to running her own virtual assistant business while undergoing treatment and raising her children, how this journey shaped Vanessa's identity, not just as an author, but as a businesswoman and advocate, her advice to those trying to create or grow purpose-driven work while navigating tough periods in life, and much more. On my continued author adventure this week, very much in line with Vanessa's upcoming interview, I have been pondering the why of my books and this business, and really giving thought to this podcast, and really thinking about what it means to me, the types of work I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and what it means to me, what it means to other people as well. And this podcast, for instance, is all about sharing other people's stories. It's a bit about my own story also, but it's mainly about other people. The guests are the chunk of the episodes, unless I do a loner, of course. It's their topics, their experiences, their short stories I'm sharing, and story for me is at the heart of every single aspect of this business. Complete. And so it doesn't matter to me the status of my guests, it doesn't matter if they're debut authors, just starting out, someone who doesn't have a book. It just is all about their powerful story, their message, what they're sharing with the world, what they want to share with you, my audience, and how you can connect with it and how it can be of value to you. That is what my purpose for doing this podcast, at least. I found myself at the library this week. I'm waiting on some books that are coming in, which are romance books. They are Harlequin published books. There are various romance categories, and you can't buy direct from their website. Australia's not in their jurisdiction, so I've ordered it in from the library, and I've just had notification that one of them's arrived, and it's been a little while, so I'm excited to go and pick that up and get reading that, just to get a grasp on the different types of style that they print and publish, because I'm back to writing my romance in the vineyard, set in the vineyard, if you've been listening. I lost that work due to software issues about a week and a bit ago, so I've finally been able to get myself back in laying out the plot and making a start on the writing, which is great. Although I'm trying not to do my usual going back and rereading over, because it is a procrastination, and I just sort of felt, it wasn't as good as the first start. It's the same, but it's not the same. The first work that got deleted and couldn't retrieve back, but never mind. It's only in the first draft, which really is all about the story and getting that down and getting to the end and not giving it too much thought and having fun and learning what the story is, who the characters are, like very, very much at the beginning of it all. So happy to be back doing that. But yes, I went to the library initially, and this again coincides with the upcoming interview with Vanessa, just about the power of books and the messages that they bring, because it's never changed for me. I've got a young daughter. I've got my youngest daughter at the moment struggling with friendships, and it's absolutely a part of normal life and her age group at school. I went through it all with my eldest daughter as well, and for the most part you need to leave them to navigate it themselves, but it's extremely difficult, every parent knows, to see their child upset or see them hurt or unsure of themselves or all that sort of thing. You can't be happy. Like I was told recently, you don't want your children to be happy all the time. Being happy all the time in life is not realistic, and you can't just go around being happy all the time. There is various emotions and feelings, like that movie, if anyone's seen it, the child's movie Inside Out, and it's all right to feel sad, to feel those ways, to have better days when they come. So I picked up a couple of books. There was a picture book, even though she's 11. I don't think picture books should attitude picture books are for all ages, personally. This one was a little bit too young for her, to be honest, and I didn't really think the message was that great. But I got some Babysitter Club graphic novels. I just have to laugh that I wanted to get, and I'm probably going to pursue this actually, the publishers of maybe the Babysitters Club and also Sweet Valley High. They were the two big series when I was younger, and I was very into the Sweet Valley Twins has now been published as well as a graphic novel, so I'm interested to know the repurposing of this. So anyway, it was good to sort of see. I brought these Babysitter Club graphic novels back for her, which was sort of on friendships and dilemma and stuff. She actually seemed to respond to those more so than the other books that I had. Also, Jacqueline Wilson. Loved Jacqueline Wilson's books. She was the laureate UK author, massive author. She's got a lot of books that are just very all to do with girls and the emotional stuff that drives them. As always, at the library, all her books are always taken out. They're always on loan, you can't get the book that I'm after to listen to. My daughter listens to Borrow Box every night. It's the same blooming book over and over. It's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Loves it over and over. And I've said, we'll reserve this book, Jacqueline's book, you can listen to it. We can't reserve it till the end of October. So, of course I can obviously buy the books, which is another thing. But I do love my local library, and I just thought that's a fast, easy way for me to go and discover books on this type of topic to help my daughter understand what she's going through. And again, all about this is what the upcoming interview with Vanessa is all about. And yeah, it's always, I still, even to this day, go to the library. I don't just look up the internet for answers and things like that to sit down and talk to my daughter. I still go to the library to find answers. I also wanted to share an article with the Writer's Digest that I read and I kind of connected with, especially getting back into the writing of my women's fiction book. So it was called 7 Easy Ways to Stay Present and Boost Creativity. And it's by Deanna Martinez Bay. And she shares 7 easy ways for writers to use mindfulness and meditation to stay present and boost creativity. She says mindfulness isn't just about sitting cross-legged in silence, although you can do that too. It's about learning to stay present in the moment so your mind isn't racing ahead or spiraling into doubt. And this is all true with me, obviously starting a new project. And as I said, you can let thoughts flood yourself and doubt, but really you just need to stay present and focus on what you're doing. She says, when practiced regularly, mindfulness can reduce stress, sharpen your focus, and boost creativity. 3 things every writer needs more of. Here are a few easy ways to bring mindfulness into your life as a writer. The more you release perfectionism, the more room you give your creativity to breathe. That's a quote from Deanna. And she says, start with the breath, seriously, just one. Before jumping into writing or editing session, take 1 deep breath, inhale and exhale. You've just grounded yourself and shifted out of rush mode into I'm here, let's write mode. Create a ritual before you write. I've heard this before, light a candle, make a cup of tea, put on your go-to playlist. Small rituals tell your brain it's time to focus. They can also create a sense of calm and help you ease into your writing mindset without force. I'm considering lighting a candle. I think that will bring a sense of calm to me. Take mini breaks to check in. You don't need an hour-long meditation session every 30 to 45 minutes. Pause for a few seconds, close your eyes and ask yourself, how's my body feeling? Am I breathing? Am I still focused? Even a 15-second reset can help your mind refocus and your words flow more smoothly. I did an episode a while back and talked about the Pomodoro technique, which is write for 25 minutes, take a break, go back, write again for that time. Whatever you find works for you. Be where your hands are. I found this really helpful. Instead of worrying about what comes next in the plot, whether your draft is good enough, or if the dog needs a potty break, try this trick. Focus on the feel of your fingers on the keyboard, the movement of your pen on the page. Bring yourself back to the now. That's where the creativity lies. No more multitasking while you write. Writing while checking email, answering text, getting the kids a snack, or scrolling through social media might feel productive, but it drains your energy and divides your focus. Try a do not disturb hour or tuck your phone in another room while you write. You'll be amazed at what you get done. And then she talks about guided meditation writing prompts and let go of the outcome. This is a hard one, but may be the most important. You don't have to write a masterpiece today. You just have to write. Let the words come as they are. The more you release perfectionism, the more room you give your creativity to breathe. And she says, final thought, mindfulness isn't about perfect. It's about being present. You have a story. Share it with the world. Ingram Spark offers everything you need to publish, promote, sell, and print your book. Reach millions of readers worldwide with powerful tools created for independent authors. Get started for free at ingramspark.com/. So as you've just heard, I'm absolutely delighted, thrilled, and honored to announce the new sponsor of the Hybrid Author podcast is Ingram Spark. Most of you know I have printed both of my short nonfiction books for authors via Ingram in the past, and my experience with them has been second to none. Their product is of the highest quality, their in-house help even better, turnaround time, shipping. I have only positive feedback with self-publishing through Ingram. And of course, this was way back when you had to upload your files and there was charges. Things have definitely changed, and I feel very humbled to have them on board supporting the podcast. So if you are an author at whatever part of your author adventure and considering self-publishing, Ingram Spark is the platform I would recommend you review and publish through. It's got built-in distribution channels to libraries, schools, worldwide, and this is something that my women's contemporary fiction book, The Writer, the Hairdresser and the Nurse, which I publish locally, is without, and it makes just it a lot harder to have to go around and get this done yourself. At least with Ingram Spark, it's a bit of a collaborative process, so head on over to get started for free at ingramspark.com/learn more. Vanessa Maiorano is a passionate children's author, a mum of two, and a fierce advocate for families navigating hard times. After her own experience facing cancer as a young mother, inspired to create gentle, supportive books that help children understand the big feelings that come with life's challenges. Her mission is simple: to remind children that no matter what happens, there is always love. After years of working in office management, Vanessa started her own virtual assistant company. This business began while she was going through cancer. Vanessa needed to keep working to manage medical bills and everyday expenses, so started offering administration, business consulting services remotely. She was supporting businesses with revenue growth and operational systems while undergoing treatment, healing from surgery, and raising two small children. Vanessa now consults for a number of companies and helps stay-at-home mums, some who are going through illness and others who are raising children, find flexible virtual work they can do from home. She says it's something that came from a really difficult season but has turned into a purpose-driven part of my life that I'm proud of. Welcome to the Hybrid Author podcast, Vanessa.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real honor to be here.
We are so thrilled to have you. Absolutely blown away by your story. It's incredible and inspiring, but we'll start. You can tell us about, your supportive books for kids and the big themes and feelings they help children understand.
Of course. So my books are written for children, helping them understand some of life's most difficult experience through a gentle, loving lens. The first book in the series is There Is Always Love. This one follows a mother navigating a cancer diagnosis through the eyes of her two young children. Each page is a reminder that even when things change, even when mum looks different or is too tired to play, the love that remains is absolutely constant. I write about big confronting emotions in my next books, covering grief, illness, separation, anxiety, but both from children and a parent's perspective, but it's in a way that a child can digest it. So the goal is to always help families feel seen, supported, reminded that even in the messiest of life, love is one of the things that never change.
Oh, I love that. I think it's really important and really special. And I can only imagine it stems from what you've gone through personally yourself. How did that come about? Were you looking for ways to help your children understand what you were going through and with the situation that drove you to write the books from the start?
So it did start from when I had to explain it to my small children. I've got a daughter who was 18 months at the time and a newborn who was born into the thick of everything. So while I was supposed to be in my mum bubble, feeding and getting used to routines and sleepless nights, it was 1 minute in my newborn bubble, and then the next thing I know, I was getting rushed off to chemo, and I had to explain it to my daughter. There was no hiding anything or no way around it. So that's where this all stemmed from.
The book itself is for that age group, like kind of young kids.
I think from small children to about 8 years old. All of the books will navigate that sort of age group. to come.
Fantastic. And the other ones in the series, how did you choose the topics for those?
Some of them were personal experiences. Some were experiences that were happening around me, watching what children go through, and found out that there's a real niche in the market. It was peak COVID time. The news was a really scary place for not just children, but anybody because of all the uncertainty and so much bad news. There was still a lot of good in the world and a lot of love around. And sometimes we just needed to be reminded of that. We can't control what goes on outside, but remembering that there's love inside us and love in our homes and within our families and our friends or anywhere that you find love, we needed to remember that it was always there.
Yeah, because I think it's just something you kind of forget about. Like, and even me thinking about your
Correct.
situation and what you've gone through, how scary it must have been even with the children.
It was actually the time that the side effects of chemo kicked in. And it was the day that I shaved my head because I was losing my hair. It was so patchy. My daughter was with me at the time. And I remember the fear in her eyes. It's actually a part that is embedded in my brain now that kind of raised that memory, but it built everything that I've built today based on that. And I remember tucking my daughter into bed and telling her that day that it didn't matter what mummy looked like. My love for you wasn't going to change. There is always going to be love from mummy. And that's kind of where I started writing letters to her so that when she was older, she could get a bit more of a grasp in the little things that I went through that she can't understand right now to full capacity, but one day she can and she'll understand when I was coming from.
Yeah, that's gorgeous to have that sort of strength and message in such a difficult time. And you're in remission now, so everything's all good and
Yes,
full hair.
remission November.
Not that
Yes.
it's
Yes.
as a young mother. What was the turning point that made you decide to turn such a personal and difficult time into, a story for children and families?
I guess the turning point from me came diagnosed with my second diagnosis of cancer, which was breast cancer. I was rushed into my first lumpectomy the week before. I was heading back to hospital for another round of chemotherapy. I looked in the mirror and I barely recognised who was staring back at me. I was bald, I was swollen, I was stitched up, I was exhausted. And I remember that day I kissed my son and my daughter goodbye and I just saw the fear in their eyes as I left for another day because I'd already been in hospital for a week. So it broke me and I really, really felt defeated at the time. And I remember that day I had no energy to watch anything or play on my phone. I was just watching patients come and go from the chemo ward. Towards the end of my session, another mum had sat down with me at the time and we started talking and she had just been diagnosed with cancer and she told me that explaining this illness to her children was the hardest part of it all. And I remember I couldn't have agreed with her more. So she asked me how I'd managed it with my own children. And I had told her how I explained it to my children that our body was made up of tiny little building blocks called cells. And sometimes those cells get sick and fall down. But with help from doctors, we work together and we build them back up again, kind of like we do with their building blocks. And she said that she was moved by it all and she was going to try and explain it to her children the next time. And I remember the next session that she had, before even checking in with the nurses, she came up to me and she actually said, "You helped me explain one of the hardest things that I've ever had to explain to my kids so easily." And I guess that was the light bulb moment from me. I'd already been writing letters to my children just in case. I had a few operations where the odds weren't in my favor, but I needed them to know who I was and what I believed in and how much I loved them. I didn't want cancer to be my legacy. I wanted to create something meaningful from something so painful. And I was lucky enough to survive. And now I use that experience to help other parents and children find the language and love to guide them through the hard things in life.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is. Have you stayed in touch with that other mother at all, or does she know that you've got this series?
Unfortunately, we have lost contact, but I do hope to see her again because I would love to hear her journey and how she navigated it with her children.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like it's meant to be, like it's a healing journey for yourself and your own children, but it's a purpose for helping others. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. Is there cancer in your family? family or anything like that, or was just completely out of the blue? And
It was actually completely out of the blue. It actually developed while I was pregnant, but unfortunately, while I was pregnant, I wasn't able to get the full testing capacity done. I had to go under, so I ended up giving birth to my son a month early, and then as soon as he was kind of out, we started testing straight away and kind of got the news not long after.
yeah, oh, crazy. Well, it's so good that you're in remission now and everything's
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Oh, good. I'm absolutely glad.
Thank you.
That's great. So
Thank you.
obviously, big experience. It must have been so scary to have to go through that.
Definitely.
Two young children, and you know, with that, you've written this message, written this book. Tell us about the publishing journey and how's that been for that book in particular.
It's definitely been an adventure, definitely equal parts chaos and magic. I did a lot of research, got a lot of advice from fellow authors in the industry. It's something that I never had done, but I ended up going for a hybrid publishing route. I just wanted to make sure that I had full control, especially because the series is so close to my heart. I created the manuscript, I collaborated with the illustrators, I managed the design, the formatting. Because it was so meaningful for me, I didn't tell anyone I was going to publish a book. I just went ahead and did it. I didn't tell my husband, my kids, anyone in my family or my friends until I had the prototype in my hand and it was real. So the process has been such a huge learning curve. I've been building my author brand from the ground up and I wanted to do it right. So I instilled the help of a marketing team called Visionary Studio. I got a publicist, which is Nicole Webb. We've been leaning into social media, doing podcast interviews like this one, radios, magazines, while connecting with bookstores, schools, libraries, charities. The list goes on and the possibilities are endless. It's definitely a slow burn in the beginning. I'm not going to lie about that, but it is an amazing ride. And because I believe in the story so much, I know that it's going to reach the right hearts and the right homes.
Absolutely. And have you had feedback from families and things like that? How's the book being received?
Definitely had some great feedback in regards to it. I've offered it to a few cancer groups or a few cancer patients, and they just said that even though it's one of the scariest things to explain, it took the pressure off them having to explain it to their child when they didn't know how to. And there are some amazing resources by a lot of cancer groups out there, but it's really hard for the younger crowd to digest and understand. So they said that it made it quite simple to explain one of the hardest things. That's kind of also where it kind of turned around, and that was my light bulb moment, kind of in a similar situation of what happened also. But yeah, it's been received really positively, which has been fantastic to see.
I remember going to the library to find books to explain certain things to my children. I think it was around, could have been bullying or anything, like parents are looking for books to help,
right.
you know, when they can't
Correct.
catch themselves in things, other people's words. And
Of course, and they're a great tool. The children can sometimes digest pictures and see it physically rather than just explain to them, and they have to use their own imagination because their imaginations run wild. So sometimes when they see it and it's their reality, they resonate with it more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think children, they all learn differently, don't they, from different things. So
That's right.
Well, you're also a business mogul at the same time, you know, running a virtual assistant. My head explodes with all the stuff that you've done. It just shows, you know, a mother doing it all, especially with that, is insane management, running your own virtual assistant business while undergoing treatment, raising children, you know, being friend, mother, all the rest. How has that journey shaped your identity, and not just an author, but, you know, as a businesswoman and advocate? Yeah.
That journey has definitely cracked me wide open, but it's rebuilt me in the best way possible. When I first got sick, I felt like I was losing everything. It felt like I lost my career, my momentum, my health, my confidence. I remember telling one of my best friends, Danny, about this, and she helped me realize that I didn't have to go back to who I was before. I could be a new person. I had the power to build something new. My virtual assistant business started from hospital beds and kitchen tables. It was just myself at the time. It gave me a sense of purpose and allowed me to use my strengths experience in marketing operations while still being present for my children. Later down the track, when I was a little bit better, the idea came to me to say, why can't I help another mum who's in a similar situation, or someone that's struggling to find work because they don't have the correct support with their children? So I started opening it up to other mums as I approached new clients. So the whole experience has taught me resilience, adaptability, the power to use your own voice, which it all bled into my work as an author, as an advocate. I've learned that we don't have to fit into one box. We can be many things at once. We can be a mother, businesswoman, a writer, a survivor, and still lead with purpose and do it at our own pace. And that's the amazing thing of today's world, that we get to be all these things. We don't just have to be one thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's exactly what this podcast's all about, is hybrid, just in
Yeah.
publishing and pathways, and not one way of doing it.
Definitely.
Yeah, doing it all for sure. That's a really powerful message. And I just think, was the virtual assistant, was it a good distraction, or how did you have the energy is what I'm thinking. Where do you get this energy from?
I had chemo once a week for 9 hours a day. So I had a lot of time on my hands. Insomnia is one of the worst and one of the best things that happened to me, I guess. I had a lot more time than probably what I needed, but turning a negative into a positive, I decided to fill that time rather than just sit in my feelings. Unfortunately, medical bills were at an all-time high. There was a time where hybrid working was the normal, being in peak COVID. So I just adapted the skills that I learned and I turned it into what it is today.
So was the insomnia, is that a side effect of the
It was a side effect of chemotherapy. Yeah.
Do you have advice for those who are trying to create or grow purpose-driven work while navigating tough periods in their life?
Yeah. Of course, probably one of the biggest things that I used to tell myself, and that I'll tell everybody else too, is give yourself permission to slow down, but don't stop. There are going to be times that you can only give, and that's still something. Don't wait for the perfect version of self, cleared calendar, just start. Even if it's messy, it's still one step closer to your goal. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help, whether that's outsourcing tasks, finding a mentor, even asking family, friends, or a service to watch your kids so you can write or you can do your work. The biggest thing I learned is that community is absolutely everything. I used to need to do it all myself. I had that mentality, but I leaned on my community and it did the world of good to me, changed who I am today. Probably the biggest thing as well is always find your why. Mine was always my children. They were my reason to fight. Now they're my reason to share my story. When you're doing purpose-driven work, it'll carry you through your hardest days. So always find your why.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. And everybody I know will relate with that. So thank you for sharing that. Your kids sort of grown up a bit more now?
Yes, my daughter's just started school. She's 5 and my son is 3.
And so you've got many books in the series. Are you working on further more releasing, or
Yes, we do. In the next couple of months, we've got 2 coming up. One that probably hits every home is on grief and navigating the fact that even though that person has passed on, their love will still live in your heart. So it's really delving into the emotions that children feel, because they don't feel them straight away or understand straight away as we adults do. The children will understand that it's okay to feel sad some days. It's okay to ask questions. We might not always have the answer, but as long as they know that they're loved and we'll come back to them with something, they will understand eventually once it kicks in, but they just understand at a different capacity to us.
Yeah, I love that.
The other book,
have you got one on separation as well?
Yes, I've got one on divorce and separation. Unfortunately, as parents and speaking with a lot of therapists that deal with the situations and people that have gone through it, the children, what I found, feel terrible for having fun at one house and not the other, when it's not their normal family dynamic that they were probably born into. And sometimes that's okay. The parents are better off separated, but as long as the child knows that they are still loved, no matter whose home they're in or no matter what they're going through or what questions they have in regards to it, it's not their fault and they are always loved.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. And I went through separation been about 2 years now, and my kids are older, teenager and tween. But yeah, I wish I had found your book then, because every little helps, and it's such a hard time. I'm not a child of divorce, so I don't really get what they're going through to a certain degree. But something that they say, especially the younger one, it's just funny how a child's minds work, you know? Like, it's really, really out there. So
Definitely.
I saw that. I thought that was really
It's amazing to see how much the child actually processes and their understanding and their emotions towards it, speaking with some of the children that have gone through it. So I spoke to various age groups, and they actually said that they feel guilty. They feel like it's their fault, but it's not their fault. And they don't actually get reminder all the time. I know that parents are doing the best and they've got hard situations as well, but how the child feels is one of the most important things in all of this. To know that they are loved, to know that they're always going to be supported is one of the most important things that the child needs to know.
Yeah, it's a good reminder, because it's almost like even if they're in contact with both parents, one parent has gone away and then, or they might see the other one less. It seems like a simple thing, but it's just something that's forgotten, you know, it really is.
That's right.
I love that you're advocating it and spreading it across all the really strong themes that need it.
Thank you.
I think that's fantastic. It's great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. You've shared such wonderful insights into such big topics, and I know our listeners are dying to know where they can discover all your work. There is always love and every other book. Where can they get it on and offline?
So thank you so much for having me. It's been a beautiful conversation. My book will be available in local libraries and bookstores, but in the meantime, you can find There Is Always Love online through my website. My website is www.vanessamaiorano.com. You can also order signed copies online, or you can follow me on Instagram. I share behind the scenes insight into my life, the writing process, and any upcoming books that are in the series.
Fantastic. Well, that was amazing, Vanessa. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So there you have it, folks. The truly inspiring Vanessa Maiorano. Next time on the Hybrid Author Podcast, it's a loner sold from me, and I'm chatting self-publishing burnout, how to stay in the game without losing your spark. I wish you well in your author adventure this next week. That's it for me. Bye for now.
That's the end for now, authors. I hope you're further forward in your author adventure after listening, and I hope you'll listen next time. Remember to head on over to the Hybrid Author website at www.hybridauthor.com.au to get your free author pass. It's bye for now.